Hey everybody, I'm coming at you from my home office again. I wanted to record a brief video since I just finished up commenting on people's resumes and cover letters, and we're heading into some stuff having to do with the informal reports and also the formal report projects. So just a brief video to sort of cover some of these bases here real quick. First about the resumes and the cover letters. Now you see my comments on the Google Docs, and I followed through after other people made their comments in the peer review session on things. Three basic points I want to make. The first point is that you'll notice how often I went through and basically said I agree. So in other words, what I thought was going to happen did happen. That is that a lot of the comments that your peers are making are ones that you should pay attention to because I have made them too. Some of my comments are a little bit more picky than some of your peers, but it's also very similar sort of thread in terms of where we're going with that. Thing number two, it's important that you actually have a real job in mind that you're applying for. And I think most of you did that, but some of you didn't. And when that didn't happen, that really stuck out. Remember, the assignment asks you to apply for a real job or a real internship, depending on where you see yourself at in terms of your career choices and your college career and things like that, and also what you're interested in for the time being. If you just kind of applied for just a job generally, that usually didn't work very well. There's a slight tangent. Let me tell you one other thing about this assignment that is one of the points that I'm trying to get people to wrestle with or to think about. If in the course of filling out or completing your resume, and you're interested, let's say you're majoring in professional writing or technical communication, and say that your experience so far to date has been working in fast food places or coffee places or doing retail, things like that, and you have that experience and you have the experience of the degree, and that's pretty much it. Or you don't really have a lot of experience to put on the resume generally. This should be sort of a signal to you that what you need to do if you're serious about going into this field is finding ways to professionalize yourself. So this is just a little tip from your Uncle Steve to you. This is the time to think about stuff like working for the student newspaper, because even if you're not interested in journalism per se, having that experience getting stuff published as a writer is really useful. The same goes for working for some of the undergraduate creative writing options on campus. Even if you're not interested in doing creative writing, getting that sort of editorial experience is useful. If you're in any sort of student organization, club, fraternity, sorority, church group, community group, whatever, that you can talk about your role in that. Talk about your role in that, number one. But number two, if you can find opportunities as a part of that organization to write things, to edit things, to publish things, you should do that. The point is anything that you can do to get that sort of clip experience of getting actual things out in writing, that's really important. Degrees in fields like English, in writing, in the humanities in general can be really, really valuable, but not in and of themselves. You have to use that degree along with other sorts of experiences to make yourselves marketable in the workplace. By the way, one other thing I'll mention about this is that I'll post it below here in terms of a link. There's a job fair going on campus this Friday. I'll post the information for you about that. And you're at a place right now, since the resume and cover letter stuff is due this Friday, this is a perfect opportunity for you to sort of potentially go to talk to some of these people and just get some sort of idea about what kinds of things that they're looking for and how you can make yourself marketable for some of the positions that some of the employers come into campus. Okay, so that's a big part of thing number two. The third thing, which is not the most important thing, but I just want to remind you again, your resume is one page long. Period. That's it. Some of you had these resumes that were 2 or 3 pages long, and I got to tell you, the only people who should have a resume that's more than 1 page is someone who has been in the workplace for 10 or 15 years and is applying for an executive position. If you may be saying to yourself, but I can't figure out a way to condense all this stuff into 1 page. Well, you have to. That's part of the assignment. 1 page is what a resume should be, especially for these entry-level positions. And along these lines, I noted on a couple different people's resumes the importance of ordering things. If you're someone who is applying for a job in a professional position, in a position where the first qualification is you have a college degree, you should list that experience first. If most of your professional experience has involved things like working in retail and working in the service industry and food and things like that, that experience should come after your education, because that degree, the reason why you're at EMU in the first place, that's the most important part of your resume. Okay. Okay, so go take a look at my comments and your colleagues' comments on the resumes and the cover letters. The final version of that is due on Friday by the end of the day. When I turn around and post grades on these, I'll go back and look at the comments again, but I'm not going to make a lot more comments. I'll just basically have an end comment and post a grade on EMU Online. By the way, if you like this process, if you like my sort of commenting right after your peers commented and before you turned it in for a grade, let me know in the comments here. Or if you didn't like it, let me know in the comments here too. Okay, so that's about the resumes and cover letters. Let me talk briefly about the informal reports. We'll start peer review on the informal report assignment next Monday. So Monday, I'm looking at my computer over here, November 17th. By the end of the day, you'll need to have posted a draft of your informal report. Now, hopefully, because the informal report assignment started quite a while ago, hopefully most of you have actually been to some event on campus. Or if you couldn't attend an event on campus, hopefully by now you have let me know what event off campus that you've decided to attend. Remember, this is a part of the assignment. If you are someplace geographically removed from EMU, you need to let me know what event that you're going to attend, so that I know about it. It would be bad for that to be kind of a surprise. We'll do the peer review for the informal report sort of similar to the resume and cover letter. In fact, we might even use the same groups for the informal report for the resume and cover letter groups. So I'll let you know about that next week. But again, you'll post a Google Doc version of your informal report on Monday. We'll begin peer review. I will follow afterwards and add my comments. And then the final version, I'm looking at the calendar over here, of the informal report assignment is due on the Monday before Thanksgiving. By the end of the day, that would be November 24th. Okay? If you have questions about the informal report, or if you've gotten stuck in terms of trying to find a topic for it, let me know, and I'll try to help you out. Finally, the formal reports, formal recommendation report, the progress reports. I commented briefly on all of those too, and there's another progress report that's due this Friday. This coming progress report, you should tell me about what you've been up to lately since the previous progress report, and how your ideas have become more formed, what research you've conducted, and so forth. Okay. Let me just emphasize two very important things about these formal recommendation reports. Okay. The first thing is that they do require research. You are going to have to go look stuff up. So if you've proposed, for example, nobody proposed this, and I should point out, whatever you propose, unless I said you can't do that, you're kind of locked into it. But I'll give you an example of a proposal that I had some students do a few years ago. They had proposed the idea of a bike sharing program on campus. That is, there's one over, I think, over University of Michigan now, but they've just had one over in Ann Arbor, and there's some other places around the country where this is the case. Basically, they're bikes that are in these racks that anybody can essentially check them out and then return them to another rack someplace else. So the idea would be you could maybe borrow a bike over by the library and ride it over to Prairie Herald and check it in there, and that way it would shorten your commute time across campus. Or you can imagine further distances across campus and things like that. When this group proposed this, they did extensive research on other bike sharing programs at other places. They did estimates on how much the bikes would cost. They did estimates on how much the racks would cost. They did estimates on where they would place the racks and the equipment on campus, included a map, and so forth. I've had other students who have done other kinds of projects like that, where they've called people on campus and told them, I'm working on this project for this class for 323, and Krause's having us do this research about things on campus. Can you answer this question or that question or what have you? In other words, what I'm getting at is that you're going to, whatever your topic is, you're going to need to do at least two different kinds of research. One is a sort of larger global macro level research, which might involve going to the library, which might involve looking stuff up online, but research like you've done in other classes and things like that. The other kind of research, though, may involve actually on-campus research. So if you're doing something, for example, because a couple of people have talked about doing study abroad programs and stuff like that, that's great. You're going to want to contact people on campus right now who are currently running study abroad programs to get information from them about how your proposal might fit into what's already going on campus. Okay? Not doing that means that you're not going to do well in this assignment. I can tell you that right now, because I am quite sure that the top 5 projects are going to be the ones that have the most clear educational relevance to EMU, that have the best research, and that have the best sort of overall presentation within the recommendation report itself, and also what we're beginning to talk about already on the class website. These micro presentations, elevator pitch style presentations that we'll start looking at each other's work after the Thanksgiving break. Whew, that was a whirlwind of stuff going on, isn't it? Well, it's going to be that kind of this time of the semester where everything is kind of coming into hopefully a soft landing. But those are my thoughts on the resumes, cover letters, my tips on getting stuff ready for the informal reports, and also on getting stuff ready for the ongoing progress reports for the formal recommendation reports. Hope that helped. See you online.